Welcome to the Football Expert, the voice for college football and your home for NFL draft analysis, game breakdowns, bold predictions, scouting reports, and so much more. This is the ultimate destination for any college football fan looking for community here on YouTube. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button and notification bell so that way you never miss another video. And join the college football community all the way from California, Texas, Illinois, Michigan, and all the way here to South Carolina. Let's get to the video. Break. And we are back here with another video today. Today we are looking at the Syracuse Orange and Fran Brown's third year here at Syracuse, looking to see if he can improve on the 3-9 season, make it much closer to that 10-3 season he had in his first year with the Orange. So let's get into it. So starting out, first game of the year, home game against New Hampshire. This is not the same New Hampshire team as years ago when they were like number one in the FCS back in like 2015, 2016. Nor is this like the there was a famous coaching tree. Was it Andy Reid's coaching tree that came out of New Hampshire? Ryan Day, I think. There was a famous coaching tree that came from New Hampshire. But either way, win against them. Home game against California next. Easy win here. Here's my opinion. I think that this is going to be a quarterback battle between Steve Angeli and the Cal quarterback that I am still trying to figure out his name, but I am not sure on. So if you have a pronunciation guide, I can't seem to find one on him. Maybe there's one that I'm just missing, but I can't seem to find a pronunciation guide for his name. But either way, the Cal quarterback is good. So is Steve Angeli. And here's the thing about Syracuse. Here's the thing when I'm looking at this team. I'm looking at this team that last year went 3-9, 100% bad year, not a good year in any way, shape, or form for Syracuse. The problem is, one of the biggest problems, Steve Angeli, let me read off his stat line. 62% completion percentage, 156 throws, 156 attempts, 1,317 yards. 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That's a pretty decent stat line. Problem is that was the leaders in all the categories other than throwing interceptions. He was not leading throwing interceptions. He was lower interceptions-wise. But either way, when your quarterback that gets injured in week 4 of the season is still your stat leader by the end of the season, that is bad, bad, bad news. Ricky Collins was terrible. He was under 55% completion percentage, more interceptions to touchdowns, only 100 QBR, which is horrible. Not a good season whatsoever. The problem is that he also did not have a run game. Yavin Willis was not good. So I think in a game like this against Cal, I think that A, the run game is a lot better, and B, I think that the wide receivers this year between Darnell Williams and even Cole Weaver, transfer from Miami of Ohio, who I think is going to be a very underrated transfer in the ACC. So watch out for Cole Weaver. I think that this is going to be a win here for Syracuse. Then a road game against Pitt. Even though this is going to be a tough game, the problem that I see with this game is it's a Thursday night game on the road. And Thursday night, you're missing out on 2 critical practices. And yeah, it's a tough window to win at. Any Thursday night game is going to be tough. Luckily, you're not traveling across the country. There's a couple of Friday night games where teams are having to travel across the country, like NC State, I think, going to Cal or something, or Syracuse coming to Georgia Tech on a Friday night. It's not great. But either way, I think that Pitt is just a better defensive team. Even though I think that this Syracuse defense was going to be extremely underrated. You do bring back David Amialapala, which I may be saying wrong, but he had 8.5 tackles for loss last year. That is what I'm looking for to see if David at the linebacking position can really have a much better season this year. And that's what I'm looking for is just slow improvement from this defense that gave up 33 points on average, or 35 on average, but 33 in a conference game. So I think that this is going to be a better team overall, but I think that it's going to extend. You bring back 5 defensive starters, bring in a couple of starters that were transfers at previous schools. So I think that this defense is going to have some play within it. You do bring back your top 3 leading tacklers. So I think that also is a big help. So I see that as a loss against Pitt, but I think it'll be a much closer loss than people expect. Bye week and then a road game against UConn. Honestly, just a weird game. This is your bye week, which kind of sucks. But yeah, I think you're going to win against UConn here. I think UConn last year only a 7-point win at home. The problem is that this UConn team does not have Jim Candle, our coach Candle. I'm blanking on his first name. The coach from Toledo is now a new coach at UConn, which I don't know if that's an improvement. It may be a money improvement, but I think Toledo has more resources in terms of it's just in a better spot at winback than UConn does it while really doing anything. It's a job in order to move further, like Jim Mora, who moved on to Colorado State after having a couple of successful seasons at UConn. I don't think that this game will be as close to 7 points. In fact, even though it's the road game, I think that this will be a 14-plus point win. Then a road game against Virginia, and this is where I'm going to have a shocker here, ladies and gentlemen. Virginia, a team that won the ACC regular season, I think is going to lose to Syracuse. And here's the thing. Already in this prediction, I have Syracuse with 4 wins. That's more than last year. I have them at a 4-1 record here so far. Everybody else that I've seen, Syracuse is going 4-8 or 5-7 or 3-9 again. And here's the thing. I don't agree with that. I think that Syracuse is extremely underrated. I think Steve Angeli will be a great quarterback. And a game like this against a Virginia team that Bro Perbula, I just don't know if he's actually going to be any good at the quarterback position. He was okay at Mizzou. The problem is that he does not have the same weapons. He does not have Ahmad Hardy in the backfield. And when you don't have Ahmad Hardy, I just don't know. So either way, I think that they get a win here against Virginia. I think Syracuse is better than that. But I say all that to say, I do think that there's going to be a loss against Louisville. I think Louisville is just a more talented team overall. I think their defense will be better. I think their offensive weapons will be better. I think that there is a gap between Louisville and Syracuse. Then a road game, and this is where I think that the wins start to come. Road game against UNC. Easy win here. I think UNC is probably going to be the bottom of the conference. Home game against SMU. I think that they also get another big win here. I think that they shock them in the Carrier Dome or whatever it's now called. But yeah, I think that this is going to be a win. I think that they're going to play well. I think that Kevin Jennings gets stopped by this defense. I really like the linebackers that I talked about earlier, being able to shut down Kevin Jennings. And I think Fran Brown, with his head coaching experience on that defensive end, is going to really show improvement. Home game against Clemson, I think they beat Clemson. They beat them last year with Steve Angeli on the road. So I think that they'll win once again here. And any Clemson fans that are watching my videos, I'm sorry. I just think that they're better. Road game against NC State, I think that this will be a tough one, but I do think that the Orange are going to come out with a win here. I think that it is going to be a close game, especially on the road. I think that C.J. Bailey is one of the better quarterbacks in the ACC, so I think between C.J. Bailey and Steve Angeli will be a very fun quarterback matchup, so that will be, I think, a win there. Then a road game against BC. I see this as a win. I think BC is the worst team in the ACC. We'll be competing with UNC. I think that UNC at least has some talented pieces. They bring in the Wisconsin transfer. They bring in some other transfers at wide receiver and at defensive line and at linebacker. The problem is that, yeah, they're bad. Either way. Then a home game against Notre Dame for the first time in I don't know how long. Notre Dame is not going to be finishing on the West Coast for their season. In fact, they're going to be finishing on the East Coast, playing Syracuse at Syracuse. And I think that this is a game that is going to be a phenomenal matchup, especially if this is a 9-2 Syracuse team, as I predict coming into this game, and then I think as a Notre Dame homer, I think Notre Dame will be 11-0, but we'll see what ends up happening. But if this is the matchup anywhere close, like Notre Dame's 10-1 and Syracuse is 9-2, like if that's the matchup, this is going to be one heck of a game. This may even get Syracuse game day. Maybe. Probably not, because there's all the rivalry matchups. There's Auburn, Alabama, who probably won't be good this year. There's Clemson, South Carolina, which I don't think both of them will be good this year. There's Ohio State, Michigan, but generally they don't go to that one with big noon kickoff. There's Texas A&M, Texas. That could be a big game this year. But I think Syracuse and Notre Dame will be the most interesting of the games at the end of the season. I do think Notre Dame wins this game. I do think just Notre Dame's more talented than Syracuse, but I do think Syracuse is extremely underrated. So Syracuse, I have them going 9-3 and 7-2. So Syracuse fans, if you could like the video down below and show me some support, because everybody that I have seen, Phil Steele, Athlon, YouTube videos from On3 and stuff like that, all of them are saying Syracuse are awful. I'm going out on a limb here and trusting Fran Brown. So if you enjoy my content, like the video and hit that subscribe button down below. Help me reach my goal of 6,600 subscribers by the end of July. And as always, hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.